Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Good. How about a film ticket?
No, ma'am. I'm not here for that.
Okay.
What I am here for. And there they go. Exactly what I want to have done. There goes the doors. Jeez, that was 36 seconds. Now, what was funny is I walked right across through here to the coffee shop. The reason I'm late is I had to go tinkle. Oh, there goes the blinds. There they go. There. Oh, there goes another one. I haven't closed those yet because I haven't walked over there. Oh, there it goes. But the doors don't close, right? So they're going to hear me. I would have said a greeting, but things happened as soon as I went live. I don't know if I got that on tape or not, but she tried to hand me a ticket for a movie. My sign was laying right there. I was getting ready, sitting my cane down and stuff. And I'm like, no, ma'am, I'm not here for that. And when I went by earlier to go to the restroom, there was nobody out here. So they had just come out. I don't know. Maybe they were here earlier today, but I don't know. So that's what I'm here for. Your dress is very cute.
Oh.
It's a very cute dress. It's got teddy bears on it. So, hey, y'all. It's been a while since I've been out. This guy out here is taking pictures of me. If you want a picture, you can just ask. So if he's with them, he knows I know that he's there now. So, what I wanted to talk about today, I was going to give it a few minutes for everybody to drop in. So how late am I? I'm only 6 minutes. This time I picked my time when I was leaving my driveway to what the map said it would take me to get here, which was nice. Sunday's nice. I don't think I'm going to be coming on Sundays because it was like an hour and 10 minutes. Nothing. So, the reason I'm fired up today is last Saturday when they called the cops to my location. They didn't call them on me. I didn't know that was called swatting. I had heard about swatting before, but I thought it was only when you called somebody to their house, like they found out where you live. And it happened to Tug from Umbrella Guy, and that's where I learned about it. Because somebody figured out who he was and called, like he was murdering his wife or something, to his house. Which, by the way, can get somebody killed and should be called attempted murder. So, last Saturday, I was like, it was weird. I wasn't really that scared at the time. Mainly because they didn't come up with guns drawn. They didn't do anything to scare me. They just walked by and asked me if I heard shots fired and went inside. So, yeah, it was stressful, but I really wasn't afraid. But if they ever did it like to me, or they were cuffing me or drawing their gun, that's different. So it wasn't till I got home and I was watching the Chicago protests on my TV on YouTube, and I was literally just jumping from channel to channel. I wanted to give all the small channels that were there some watch hours and some subscribing. All us little channels are sticking together and helping each other out. And I'm panning around because looking at blinded windows isn't that exciting. So, I still hadn't heard about any of the swatting that happened that weekend until later. I think after I was here on Monday, and I think it was after I got home on Monday or whatever, that I started seeing what happened to Jessica and some other stuff. The 22 freaking police cars and helicopter that showed up, and just ridiculous. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. So, yeah, I knew they did it because I was here. But now that I know how dangerous that could have been, now I'm really ticked. So I'm going to talk very loudly today about their weaponizing of the police force against us. And as you can tell, it hasn't made any of us stop. They don't know. See, I watch Nerd Report quite a bit because he's following this and he follows everybody. And I was a member of Nerd Report way a long time ago, before any of this happened, and Popcorn Planet community. And since then, those two communities have overlapped, which I think is pretty awesome. And I actually have met Lewis twice. I went to the Vegas meetup and I went to the LA meetup and I got to meet him. But they don't remember me. I was shy and held back because I didn't know a lot of people. And I just said hi and stuff. Anyway, he highlighted my swatting. He was going live one day and I just mentioned it in the chat. He's like, well, send it. So I did. And the support and the outcry has been pretty awesome. So if it does that, then I'm happy about it. Not happy that it happened. And I forgot my hat today. I know, I always forget something. But right before I left, I was watching stuff. I was looking for something to listen to on my way here because it's pretty boring for an hour. And I saw Will's attack. And because these guys are supporters of that restaurant and Danny Masterson or the owner or whatever, they didn't need to do what they did just because they disagree. We don't do that stuff. We disagree with everything Scientology is doing and everything La Poubelle is doing, but we don't get violent. Now, I didn't get to watch the whole thing because the thumbnail looked like they ended up on the ground. I watched how it started, but I had to get on the road. And I don't play anything I have to look at when I'm driving, so I'll finish watching that when I get home. But it was enough. That, and then I was live with Nerd Report when DOA got swatted again, and everybody gave Lewis a hard time because he stood back. Well, Lewis isn't a protester. Lewis is a journalist. He is only I don't know what. He is highlighting and promoting the protesting on his channel. And he's got 65,000 followers now. That's a lot. And so, and DOA told him to hang back. Now, I was in the chat going, go get his phone, go get his phone, go get his phone, before the cops got there. Lewis was pretty upset, I think, so he wasn't reading our chat, which I know is kind of hard. And if anybody's chatted on here, if I'm not actively looking at the screen, which I'm not always, it'll disappear until somebody else chats because I don't have a continuous chat. So if you have said something and I don't see it, I don't respond right away, I haven't figured out quite yet how to bring it back up again. I'm not a big person. Oh, here we go. Let's go live chat. Okay, I'm not a big person to watch YouTube how-to videos. I prefer books. Anyway, let's go back. So, I was watching that live. And I put DOA, I had this phone, which I'm going to explain is an extra phone. I had my regular phone and I had my TV YouTube on 3 different channels eventually. I had DOA and I had, on one phone, I had Nerd Report on the TV, and then when Laura showed up, I put her on my other phone. I gotta tell you, I'm really glad the LA group lives close together because they got there in a minute. So if you haven't seen it yet, I would say either go to, No Report was there the whole time. DOA had his phone on, but you don't get to see a lot. So I would say go watch Node Report first, watch up to where everybody gets there, and then if you want to switch to somebody else's channel and watch them, like Laura or Will showed up, Danny showed up. He said something about he lives 45 minutes away and he was there in like 20, I forget exactly what he said. Danny showed up, Aja showed up, and she was yelling from the car before she even parked. Mindy eventually showed up. If there was anybody else there, I forget. So that was really awesome. Now, I'm never going to have that here, but I'm also not a big, huge channel, and I don't really think they care about me that much. But, so there's the college. It's pretty. I'm trying to show interesting. Maybe you can people watch or something. So, the reason so anyway, back to the swatting. Now, I will bounce around a little bit. A lot of times because I think of something, I say it, and because, you know, people dip in and out. But the reason I'm here on Sunday is I saw Pearl Snappy here. I think it was the Sunday after the opening. And there was constant in and out. And a lot of kids. A lot of parents and small kids, 8, 9 years old, with their backpacks. I don't know what they were doing in there. So, Node Report, DOA. So I was watching that, and Lewis, because he was low key, he was able to walk up to the cops and get them to talk. And one of them said, they're like, you know, this is, Lewis is like, you know, this is bogus. You know, this is messed up. He's like, well, he goes, they said he had a gun. I don't know if that officer said this part. I think DOA did. That he was also, they were also told he had victims in his van. Don't go in there. It's a cult. Awesome. There's people going in there messing with it. You can go in and take their personality test. Yeah, I'm talking about the swatting of all the protesters that's gone on this week. We have them in LA, Chicago, Denver. And they did it to me. I'm a grandma.
Yeah?
Yeah, last Saturday, 6 cop cars showed up.
Scientology is a cult.
Yep.
I agree with her.
Yep.
I 100% with her.
Yep. And last weekend, the same weekend they did it to me, they called on one of the live streamers, because she live streams elsewhere.
Yeah.
She got 22 cop cars and a helicopter.
Wow.
And they even said she has a police scanner.
Yeah.
On the police scanner, before they got there, they said, this is probably a swatting. She's known to us. She's in our station all the time complaining about how the cops treat him. And they still put him in cuffs for 45 minutes. So that's what I'm talking about right now. Thanks. Pass it on. Get the knowledge out. All right. I should have. Now, I got to learn. The reason I don't put my camera on people, that was kind of on purpose. Because I got to learn to ask if they want to be on camera, and I didn't. I'm learning. I am learning. My last live was a totally failed experiment, but I learned. By the way, now that I got quite a few people on, I need you to tell me how this phone is. I went a few days ago on Marketplace, and I found somebody selling a cheap smartphone because, right, because, right, thanks. So that if they try to grab my phone or knock my phone, you know, I don't care. It cost me $40. It's not on service anywhere. Thank you. Now, the only thing I worried about when I first got it that day, we were in the vehicle and I was taking video, and I'm going to do real fast. So if you can't handle it, look away. It looked blurry, or like it wasn't, you know, whatever these numbers are. It had a really good camera. That's why I got it. Then I looked at the difference between mine and this and all these other numbers. So I'm going to go kind of quick. Okay, here's quick. Now I have my son. I can't really see it right now. So let me know if that was clear or if you got a little bit of blur. Or it's not really even a blur. It's like hitching. It's weird. So, I was talking about DOA no report. I want to stick on that. And like I said, somebody said today that this stuff isn't on Twitter enough. That when this stuff happens, it needs to be on Twitter. Thank you, Sandra, and it just disappeared. That's how fast my chat disappeared. I'm going to get online and figure out how to keep that from happening. There has to be a setting. So, yeah, see, I'm partially in the shade. So I can see it when I'm more in the shade. Awesome, I'm glad, because what I did is right before I went to buy this off a soldier on base, by the way. I didn't know it was a soldier until I got to the address, because there's housing on that street too. And then I just have it hotspotted to my regular phone. So there's nothing on this phone except YouTube. I don't have anything special signed in. So I can sign into my account anywhere. I have it on multiple devices. So I don't care what happens to this phone. Alright, I'm just, especially, I was already fired up. And then I saw Will get attacked. I saw the upload right before I got in the car. So I've been just itching to get here and talk about it. Because they're weaponizing, not only weaponizing the police, they're weaponizing street people, they're paying people, supporters of Danny Masterson, and that kind of thing. I think that's who I think attacked Will. They were asking him why they were saying stuff at the restaurant. And they got aggressive. And they got obviously aggressive first. And I liked what Will did. Will, I've noticed, now we all know that his son was unalived. And it wasn't no drug deal or drive, you know. I think he's wrong place, wrong time. Or, I hate to say this, but I do wonder if it was against Will somehow. But I'm thinking about where he was, and it probably wasn't that. By the way, I'm using my gimbal because we think now that it was my old phone. It's the fold phone, and it just wasn't sitting right. So I'm using the gimbal. It's on. But if it's, see, there I go, left to right. And if it's not stable, let me know, and I'll just lock it in place. It's probably more stable than when I lock it in place, because I'm a shaky person. So, if it's not the police, and it's not their private investigators, and it's not the people they pay on the street to attack protesters, then we wouldn't have this problem. Honestly, we wouldn't have as many protesters as we have if they'd have just left it alone. But now, everybody's ticked off. So, after Lewis put my video up and he said what he said, I understood how serious what happened last weekend really was. Luckily, the Austin police isn't in Scientology's pocket yet, or at least not the officers, because they haven't hired them enough to pay him a lot of overtime like in LA. The LAPD is in Scientology's pocket because they double their salary. Will, and let me know if I'm too close to the phone when I'm loud, I'll move it. But I know you all can just turn me down. Alright. They're weaponizing the police against us. They called them on me, and I'm a grandma.
Sorry about that.
It's alright. It's alright. Will. The police. LAPD. So, Will, there's this internet page. Thanks. High Vibes. Who's here? And then it disappeared. Sandra. And I couldn't see if there was any before that. just let me, like I said, let me know if it's just let me know anything. If there's anything wrong, I'm still learning. And the only people that can really tell me is you guys. So, the LAPD, unlike the Austin PD, is in Scientology's pocket. Because if you look at their salary, their base salary is $65,000 a year, this one person they showed. And then it showed overtime, another $60-something thousand. Hey, Judy. Thanks. Oh, I'm mad today. If you just got here, I watched all the swatting this week, yesterday, and then I just saw Will's video before I left the house where he got attacked. So I got here fired up. Not a lot of people out here, but I will have this same discussion every day until everybody hears it. So, a theory I came up with way a long time ago when I saw that, when Aaron was attacked. I know. I didn't see the whole attack yet. I saw it right before I left the house. I saw enough, but I didn't see to the end. I didn't want to, but I will when I get home. I'm gonna watch it all. They deserve that. Anyway, the LAPD. So, remember when Aaron, and Judy, you know this, was attacked, and it took them, they stood around for hours, I'm not sure how long, before they decided to do something. Oh my God, Danny got arrested. I didn't know that. What did he get arrested for? Did they say? So Sergio, something happened to him? Robbery, really? Really? You know, okay, it makes me angry. We're gonna have to find a lawyer that wants to get involved in this, because there's got to be somebody that wants. Well, I know. Damn, was it on film? Oh yeah, I did see him just bumping him. What I was gonna say is that what I liked about Will, and I got off track again. I'm sorry. So what I've seen with Will is he's like a fatherly figure to everybody, because a lot of them are young. LA, all on film. Awesome. Need to get sued. FBI definitely needs to be called. Yes, it was all recorded. It always is. Scooter guy blocked the sidewalk, ran into him, then called the cops on him. He kept it together after getting punched several times. Yeah, Will, I could see do that, because he wants to make damn sure they can't pin it on him. But Will, I saw what Will did. He got in front of the other people with I think he said the girls. Yeah. So, did he get let out yet? Oh, of course. Oh, man. Street's got his nose broken. Danny was set up by old Sciento. That's fucked up. Sorry. I don't usually try to cuss. It's the army in me. Tuesday. No, Danny, get out on Tuesday. Ah, of course. Just the exact amount of time. They're not going to mess up like they did with DOA. So, I was really happy about that. I didn't realize until I heard about Will's son that he was actually as old as he is. Old enough to have a son that old. And I liked how he, kind of watches over everybody. Alright. So he's going to be in jail till Tuesday. Got in trouble hard to keep track of it all. I know, me neither. Danny, robbery with hate crime attached. Yep.
Yo, are you doing a live stream?
Yes, I am.
Heck yes.
What would you like? Can I put you on?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
What's up? I'm Mike.
All right.
Dallas.
I'm talking about what happened this week. Even with me, we've been swatted by the police. They're making up lies. They didn't call on me directly, but 6 cop cars showed up last weekend, shots fired. And I'm like, I'm a grandma. They're really worried about me. And then we've had people jailed.
Swatting, right?
Yeah, they called the police. Well, one girl, got 22 cops in a helicopter. That's last weekend. Then the guy we call DOA, he was in jail 5 days a few weeks ago, and they had to drop it because they kept him in jail too long. And they swatted him again yesterday. I was watching it, and he was laying down on the ground with his arms out before the cops even got there because he saw the helicopter, and they didn't know what to do. They had their guns on. He's already laying down. But
So,
they got
is
him
it-
for a gun, victims in his van, and supposedly he called it on himself.
Is it all because of John Travolta?
No, it's because we're protesting. And they have a dirty tricks department.
That's John Travolta
And
and
Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise and
They're above
Danny-
it, but they
Danny-
know.
what's his
Danny,
name?
oh yeah, that's who, these
Yeah.
protesters that got swatted are protesting in front of the restaurant where he drugged his victim. And the owner of La Poubelle sat in court with Danny Masterson every day to support him and wrote a letter for sentencing saying, yeah, I know he did it, but he's a great guy.
Yeah, that's Scientology. I don't know.
Well, they have this they're doing the dirty tricks they've done for decades, but what they don't understand is social media. All of this has been filmed live. Every time they call the cops and it's bogus. The ones in LA, a month or two ago, it was 24 fake calls in 2 months.
How many viewers do you have right now?
Not a lot, 30.
30?
I'm small. I've only been live a couple weeks.
Okay.
And I never thought I would have a YouTube channel. I thought I'd come down here and just hold a sign. But it's called the SPTV community.
Okay.
SPs are suppressive persons. And they're encouraging anyone to start a channel.
Yeah,
We even have a cooking
I
channel.
have a Twitch channel.
Yeah.
And I play games on it.
I haven't watched that much. Yeah.
But if y'all want to check me out, it's M5Ash
Okay.
on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
All
sure
right.
I got some.
You have a good day.
All right.
right,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Spread the word.
Yes.
So, that's okay. People have supported my channel. I don't mind at all somebody wanting to support their channel. So I got off track again. Oh, where was I? Let's go back to the LAPD. So, one of the Nerd Reports about to put out the arrest and everything. I'll have to watch him later. So, then Aaron, and that's what I call him, I can't help it, really put out what that Tallman guy, that LAPD officer, how much in with Scientology he is, singing in a band at their Christmas party in uniform. So I got to thinking about that, and everybody when Aaron got attacked and they called the cops, and all these cops showed up and just stood there for like an hour, probably longer, I'm not positive, until Talman showed up. And everybody's like, why are they waiting on this guy? This guy has no power. He has no authority. He teaches trainees. And I said, you know what it is? And I'm going to go into something real quick, how this works. So my husband is in security with actually somebody famous, but I'm not going to say who, for their properties. And he works at night, and he just tours their properties. But whenever they have something special going on and they need extra security, they hire police, constables, DPS, whoever they put it out. And my husband is on that list, even though he doesn't take the jobs. He's just on that list for security. And they'll be like, okay, we need somebody such and such a day for $50 an hour. My husband makes $20 an hour, and I know the cops probably make half that or less, especially in Texas. So that's how it works. They put out the job, and then somebody decides who gets that job. And I think it's Talman. I think Talman's power is money and Scientology. And I think he is the one that either tells Scientology who to hire and who not to hire. And when it doubles, when overtime doubles your salary, that's a big deal. Between you making $65,000 for the year or $150,000 for the year. Or wait, what's 65 and 65? I'm right. 6 and 6, 12. 130, 140,000. And the way they pay, instead of paying directly, which I think they do where my husband works, I don't think they pay through the police department. Maybe they do because I don't understand. And my husband still doesn't understand. Still doesn't understand how they can use their cruisers and their uniforms, but that's for another day. But, so maybe they do. Maybe that's why they do it, because they can use their powers as a police officer. Because when my husband worked the clubs, they would have a constable, like was here that first week with Pearl Snappy, and in their own car, their constable car, and they make so much an hour. And so my husband, the security guards, they worked the door and they found the drugs and they took the people fighting over to the constable. Then the constable decided whether they were just going to get rid of it, if it was a little bit of weed, or they were going to arrest them. So I think that's why they had one on call, because they didn't have, and they did have guns and shootings there. So they're already in place for something big. And they were paid by the club. I asked my husband all about it. He said they were paid by the club, hired by the club, however they worked that. So in LA, it goes through the police department. Well, I think when they're like, okay, this is your bill for this many officers for this amount of time, I think there's a little extra going on that bill for whoever's getting paid. Because why else would the higher ups be in their pocket? They're not there. They're not getting extra money working that. So I think that's what's going on with LAPD. And then you see how the APD has handled things, because they're not in their pocket yet, because they're not big like LA. They don't have a bunch of events that they need extra security for. And remember Sean in Chicago, and I think he's been seen in LA, I'm not sure, wearing the gray shirt. Pearl Snappy said he's with the landlord's office. Well, he's some sort of enforcer. He's a jerk. And he was pushing Danny and them down the road, trying to tell them it was private property and they weren't in charge of it. He tried. We were in the back here because up front they had a bus and a truck right there at that intersection, and it was going on right over there down that street. Well, in the back at that intersection is where most of us were when I first got here. When, later on, I came up front with my honk sign because Pearl Snappy said she wanted as much noise as possible, and 80% of the cars that went by me honked. Anyway, he was back there, and he was trying to get one of the cops to get rid of us. And the cop told him to go stuff it. He's like, "What? As long as they don't block the sidewalk," which we weren't. We were careful. He said, "I got nothing to say." He said, "Just get lost." And he almost stomped. I don't know who got him on camera, but he looked like so mad, like he was going to have a tantrum like a toddler. So I think he took it out on Chicago a little bit, because he could wield some power up there. Because they're a little bit more corrupt up there. So, sometimes I don't have great things to say about Austin, because it's not like Texas. It's like, it's just not like Texas. But I do appreciate the Austin PD for handling things the way they do. He knew as soon as he walked up and asked me if there were shots fired or if I heard gunshots, and I said no, and nobody was running and screaming, he knew it was bogus. And if you watch, I have to get used to having the camera where my eyes are, because there was two in front of him walking up like do-de-do-de-do, like any other, like they were going on break. And I'm just like, really? And then that guy, he's probably in charge, and like Nerd Report Lewis said when he was watching it, he's like, yeah, the problem is that guy's amped up. That guy thinks he's walking into gunfire, and you don't know what might happen. We talked about it, a gimbal can look like something maybe it shouldn't. Luckily, I'm standing here, and the way I look, I'm very unimposing. I'm an old lady with a sign. So they, and oh, and I said, if you watch the video, that whole week, I was like, well, that's great. I'm glad there's a security out front or an officer, because that means they can't call a false call on us and say we're doing something stupid, because he can see us. And then 5 minutes, and I didn't put that part of the video in because I'm blathering on about stupid crap, and you can barely see it because I didn't have my camera on him. He's in the edge of the shot. He was leaning right there, and all of a sudden it's like he sees something at the door. I wasn't watching the door, and he left 5 minutes before I heard sirens. So then the cop, he's like, it was a VoIP call, and he was really cool about it later. He's like, he goes, it could be from their side, it could be one of your viewers, somebody looking up live streams trying to screw with them. No, I only have 30 live streamers, and they're all of a certain age group. I can look at my analytics. No, I'm sorry, that did not happen. So now they know they can use a VoIP, and everybody's like, they should be able to trace it. If they wanted to investigate it, they probably can. Yep, I talked about it. Who's this guy? No bail. I'm missing stuff up there. Hold on. Can somebody say something? Oh, I can't bring it up. Oh, there it is. Okay. Maybe my other phone wasn't set right. Danny charges robbery with a hate crime attached. Yeah, of course. Because everybody else gets let out 4 or 5 times. Who's this guy? I'm not sure who you mean. Honor was a carrot. Yeah, I know that. Blame it on Trump. Okay. And the arrow's in the way of the last one. Oh, message was deleted. Matt, we're not doing politics in here. And if you're going to, I'm going to block you. This is about Scientology and only about Scientology. Unless somebody in politics goes after us, then we'll talk about it. So, those are my theories about the LAPD, and I'd really like to get somebody out there. I need to contact Will. I'm sure he probably already thinks stuff like this, but my mind never stops. And now that I have seen the weirdness, years ago I would have said, oh, that never happened in this country. Oh, that would never happen in this country. And then I watch riots, and the mainstream media standing in front of a burning dumpster saying this is a mostly peaceful demonstration. So that right there, I was done with news. But the fact is, nobody got in trouble, nobody got arrested back then, and everything since then. And I thought, this stuff isn't going to happen in my country, and it is. So now I consider all options, no matter how crazy they are, because of what we have found out about Scientology and how freaking crazy they are. How they'll go to any lengths to get rid of people or mess with them. So there's nothing off the table with these people, and I personally don't believe unaliving is out of the question, but that's my theory only, allegedly, my opinion, etc., etc. Oh, I gotta stop walking away from my cane. They stole my cane last time. I can't walk away. I like this one because I can hang it. So, you know, when I start looking at, when he showed me the money and you start following the money, then you know. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. And that goes for either side. Doesn't matter. Now I have my views. I gotta put my sign down for a minute so I can get a drink. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. Pointing at the sidewalk. Okay. I am looking at a tripod, but I kind of like moving around because I don't want the camera on me. I want to see people watch, and during the week you can see more people. Anyway. Oh, by the way, this coffee shop, pretty good. Got this there. Man, I'm just so irritated today. Just irritated. I'm so sad that there's not more people here to listen. But you know what? I'll come this week and I will have the same discussion. But, and then, if you watch Nerd Report while he was filming, when the cops show up, he's telling him, look, you know, this guy has nothing. And, oh my God, you have to watch Nerd Report up until Laura and Will get there. If you want to switch over, you can. But he's back. What he does is he stands back and he gets all of it. Like when they get attacked at La Poubelle, he stands back and he tries to get as much of that as he can documented. He's a journalist. He's following this story. He's not a protester. He's helping us. He's supporting us, which I appreciate. And he's calling it out. And he goes off on the fact that this is dangerous. That calling cops on guns and knives and this and that, that's dangerous. They come with guns drawn. They did it to in Denver, Denver Scientology audit. I hope I got that right. I watched that. He handled it pretty well. I'm not, like, if they did that with me, I'm not going to be exciting and curse them. I'm just going to be like, look, y'all. But he's telling them, and when he got that cop talking, he's like, yeah, we know he doesn't have a gun. DOA is still going off. They still have him handcuffed. Why? Why do they still have him handcuffed? When he's like, yeah, we know he doesn't have a gun. We know he doesn't have victims in the car. Then he says, well, he called it in on himself. Come on. If it's an unlisted number or a VoIP call and they just say, I'm calling because I have this, bull crap. That's what they did in Denver. And he's like, look at my live stream. I was never, and they did, and they didn't take him out of cuffs. Those cuffs should fucking magically fall off when they know they have discounted everything that was called in. There's the problem. They got no reason to keep you in cuffs and make you uncomfortable and make you, you know, the star of the show for any longer than necessary. And they're trying to throw their power around. Chicago's corrupt too, for what I hear. But thank goodness. As a matter of fact, I'm even going to contact Officer Garcia. I have his card. I'm going to have a talk with him about this, or an email at least. And let him know that this is going to happen. There needs to be a memo put out that this is going to happen. And, oh, Lewis asked that too. He said, isn't there any way you can investigate this? And he didn't really have much to say. And he's like, well, why don't you put a memo out and tell the officers that these certain people on the list are having swatting calls on them? So as soon as you roll up and you see that person, you know, I understand they have to go to every call, but you don't need a helicopter at every call. You don't need 6 or 10 or 22 cars at every call. The resources being used is ridiculous. So every time I heard the owner of La Poubelle's name, I thought it was a female until I saw the picture. So is there 2 owners, or is it just a Frenchy female sounding name? Francois. No, I thought it was oh, that is a boy's name. Is it Francois? Anyway, for some reason I thought it was a female. Maybe a picture, I don't know. But it kind of made sense it was a female. Maybe her and Danny had a relationship or something. But it doesn't make any sense. But I'm really glad they're out there and they're protesting. And I'm hoping that place closes down. Because you can tell by the way they act, by the way the security acts, by the clientele that goes in there, that it's not a good clientele. And it looks to me like it's a meeting place for this person's friends to show up. Because they're all in it together. Because people that just show up to eat, and they probably get a few of those, when they tell them what happened there, they leave. Now, I agree with Mindy. I switched over to Mindy night before last after Lewis signed off. So I was I was sitting at that fire for 5 hours. I burned all of our wood. It was nice. I was having fun by myself, and I just started watching other streams after I was done. And, oh, by the way, I'm hyped up on a lot of coffee, too. Whew. So, okay, so, alright. Anyway, what I typed today in some of the comments was, you know, they're only making the protesters more determined, more mad, and stronger. They can keep doing this, and I feel bad for anybody that goes to jail for this cause. But all it does is shine the light on them more in a dismal way. And that's another thing, too, that I keep saying. And people say, well, they don't care. I don't care if they care. Other people do. And that's all of this video showing how the LAPD is protecting Scientology and treating the protesters like criminals when they have caught absolutely nothing. You can watch all of their live streams. Nothing. They're standing there doing their thing. Oh, I was talking about when I switched over to Mindy's stream Friday night. She was saying, you know, I'm more low-key too. And she said, you know, they're booing people and stuff like that. But if they just showed up to that restaurant, they have no idea why they're being booed. I like that they have flyers, but what Pearl Snappy told me was that flyers end up usually on the ground and litter, and a lot of people may not read them. That's why I put this. Somebody gave me a pile of these, but instead I put it on my sign, and people want to take a picture of the sign. They don't want to take a pamphlet. They need to get signs like I've got. I'm about to get a tripod for my sign, because I don't mind moving my camera around and it's lighter, but having both with two bad shoulders is a bit much. So we went to a thrift store and got a really nice, I'll tell you about it later, because I don't want to get off track. So every time a bus comes by or the light goes red and I notice, I turn my sign that way, and then when there's people walking, I turn it the other way so everybody gets a chance to see it. So wait a minute. Oh, my chat wasn't moving. People need respect, people. The word, thanks, Matt. Judy. The word is getting out. We're all doing our part. Yep. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't. People say they can't come out and protest. Doesn't matter. You supporting channels, subscribing, viewing hours, all that is helpful. Owner is a woman. Okay, that's what I thought. The picture doesn't look like a woman. Keep poking that bear. Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. And we're winning. I keep telling them we're winning, because they wouldn't still be doing this if we weren't. If we weren't bothering them, if we weren't costing them clientele, if we weren't making their body riders go back inside, they wouldn't be calling on us. They wouldn't be using their dirty tricks department on old ladies like me. You can see me in the window. I don't like being on camera if I can help it. Yeah. I mean, it sucks. It sucks that Will got attacked. Alright. That Will got attacked, and Danny's in jail, and DOA got swatted, and Jessica got swatted, and Cam got put in handcuffs, and and more. I try to stay up on everything. It's just my brain that can't hold everything. There's so much. It's ridiculous. It's hard too. I mean, the only reason I was allowed to watch as much as I have is because, as a lot of you know, I was bedridden until really January. I say November. That's when they put the stimulator in my back, but it took a couple months to heal to where I was able to do what I'm doing today. And so I was bedridden for 5 years, and I never really watched YouTube. And so we didn't have live TV anymore. We don't pay for it. We just have Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that. Something came on my feed, and I believe it was Aaron. And I'm like, he had a video. It was one of his older videos, because he wasn't going live every day back then. So this would have been 2022. I started watching Popcorn Planet avidly. He was going every day, live every day back then. I was following all that. Then after the trial, wasn't long before I saw Aaron's channel, and I did a deep dive. I went back. I realized I can't watch a person's every video for the last 5 years. Yup. So, I went back 1 year and I watched all of his videos and got caught up. Owner, so excited for it. Thanks, Lisa. Here for the truth. See y'all. So, I had a lot of time, and not everybody has a lot of time. And that's why I greatly appreciate anybody. I don't care if I've got 5 people on here or 1 person on here. I appreciate every minute y'all give me, because our time is precious. And I just happen to have a lot of it. So now I don't have as much time. But that first week I was out, before it opened, every day, I was out here every day but Tuesday, or I can't remember. I lost 5 pounds because I haven't been active for a long time. So that's how I was able to deep dive into Aaron. I mean, and any channel he said go take a look at, I did. And I just don't have time to support everybody, but you know, I try to really watch the smaller channels. Like back then I started when Marilyn and Poe and Clearwater Chad, that group I remember when they started, and I'm like, okay, they're never in, so I tried to support them because they were small at the time. And just, but you know, there's so many, and I've tried to watch all of them. Now I'm not gonna have the time. But I'm gonna try to, you know what I'm gonna try to do? I'm gonna make a Facebook page so that we can chat offline better than just in comments. And I bought a domain a year ago when I was watching Claire and Mark that I need to start for SPTV, because I didn't want when it was in its infancy, and I knew the church was going to try to buy up every SPTV domain they could find. So it was like $12, no big deal, a year. I hope it's still there. I haven't looked at it. I think it auto renews. I hope so. So I'm going to try to get that started this week. Oh, and I'm going to go off talking for a few minutes. I'll go back. So I've got something planned. Something fun, something interesting that I'm going to do while I'm protesting. It's going to take me about a week to get it all together. But I'll post it. When I post that live, I'll let you know that, you know, there's a surprise today. I hope that it's fun. I want to make this, you know, because I'm alone, you know, when they're at La Poubelle, they got a group. They can hang out. They got people being fun, you know, doing fun things. And that's what Lewis said. He said the reason this time the protesting stuck is because it's more of a community and it's fun and the people are interesting and we want to support them, especially us older crowd. I really want to support the young people because they're spending a lot of their time that they could be doing way more fun things, live streaming this cult and talking about putting them on TikTok. I started a TikTok on this phone. Ever since I put TikTok on my good phone, literally that day, my phone started acting funny and wigging out and stuff wasn't working. And I deleted it immediately. I didn't even start anything. And my phone's been messed up ever since, especially YouTube. I've never had a problem with YouTube, but it wants to freeze up and not let me comment and not show the chat. And yesterday I deleted it and reinstalled it, and we'll see if it happens again. So I don't trust TikTok. I've never have, but I can put it on this phone because I don't have nothing special. So I'm just gonna take clips of videos and just put them on there. I'm not gonna live stream on TikTok. Maybe I should. We'll figure that out later. So I just wanted to put that out there. So there's just not enough people out here. I wanted to be really loud and get some information out, but they can still hear me. That's fine. But this attacking the protesters has got to stop. It's ridiculous. We're peaceful. Everyone's been peaceful. Nobody started anything, and yet they're attacking all the protesters. They haven't physically attacked me, and I don't think they will. I think this is going to be a pretty unexciting area, but you never know. You can't trust them as far as you can throw them. Is that guy still taking pictures of me? Nope, he's gone. But yeah, he didn't look suspicious. Yep. Hey, Dan. But yeah, he was sitting right there on that bench towards me, trying to take pictures from his lap. I saw him messing with the buttons. I think he lifted it when I turned, but I noticed him. He was there a few more minutes and then he left. I don't care. Take a picture of me. I guarantee you're not going to find me. I didn't like social media before this. I wasn't doing anything on social media before this, and I really don't care. There's nothing they can do to me. I have no job. I can't even get disability because my husband makes a little bit too much. I have no income. I have no small kids. I got nothing to lose, and I have an incurable disease that I will have for the rest of my life. So I got nothing to lose. I got that old lady syndrome now, where I've got like 54 years of, following the rules and doing what you're supposed to do and being polite. Yeah, that's gone now. Because I don't have to. I don't have to worry about losing a job, losing a source of income, not being there for kids. My kids moved away. That's what happens when you live in a military town. So, don't care. So, I'm going to be out here as many times a week as I can get here. If I lived here, I would be here every damn day. But today was nice, but normally on a weekday, I'm gone from my house for 6 hours. With driving, parking, and being here for an hour and a half to 2 hours, because going home is always longer than coming, because it's later in the day. So, like I said, this grandma will be mad. I didn't know how serious swatting could be. I mean, I did in LA. I understood that. They were calling directly on people and saying they had a gun or a knife or whatever. But they tried to do it to me indirectly, trying to call shots fired. Oh, and Pearl Snappy got the report. I'm going to do the same. That's why I'm going to call Officer Garcia. Because I want to see if I can get the body cam. Because I want to see in the 911 call if it was a 911 call. Because they're saying they're not using 911, so they can't get recorded. They're calling dispatch. But dispatch has to be recorded too. Every business records phone calls now. I'm assuming the police department does too. So I'm going to get all of that. Anyway, Pearl Snappy said, the report said, it either said it was a stabbing on the second floor, then shots fired, or it was stabbing, then they changed it to shots fired. So I'm like, first of all, if you're calling on something like that, I think you know the difference between a stabbing and a shooting. But I want to see exactly what it says. And all that did, all this week, I couldn't make it back. I'm going to tell you. That's why I haven't been here this week. That's why I did the fireside the other night, because I felt bad. Because they don't let their members leave. They literally, do you mind if you're on camera? I'm live.
I prefer not to.
Okay. Because when you get into Sea Org, you sign a billion-year contract because they believe you have multiple lives. And you work, some of the public, somebody like me, that if I was a member and I was going in for services, take their kids out of school at 12 years old, put them in the Sea Org, and they work 80 to 100 hours a week for $47 a week. And if they bring anybody from another country, they take their passports. Because they're all over the world. Yes. The people that are wearing the uniforms, they're either staff or they're Sea Org. Staff has to have a second job because they're supposed to get $200 a week, but if the org doesn't make any money, they don't get that. So they live like, you know, they're slave labor.
Holy cow, wow.
Yeah, go take a picture of this card and look at those. These are ex-Sea Org members when they were kids and they got out.
Have you ever been involved in Scientology?
No, I started watching these people and I got involved, and they opened 2 weeks ago, and I started coming the week before they opened. We were here.
Yeah.
We were here.
Crazy.
And they're encouraging anybody. I'm a grandma. Never thought in a million years I'd have a YouTube channel. I've only been live for a couple weeks. So, I've only got 20. I had 30 at one time. I got 22 now.
Awesome.
But I'm coming out here as much. What they've done, if you go on here and you look, go to Nerd Report right now. He was just in the last couple days, the LA supporter, the LA protesters.
LA.
Yeah, they've been swatted. I got swatted by police last weekend, and
Really?
I'm like, yeah, they called shots fired here, and because they knew they couldn't call on me because there was a guard here that first week.
Yeah.
But we've had people jailed for nothing. The LAPD's in their
Protesters?
pocket. Yeah, because LAPD's in their pocket because they
Yeah.
give them overtime at their events and double their salaries. But we just had somebody and it's all on film. That's the thing. Everything they get arrested for, there's 5 people live streaming when it happens. And yesterday, DOA, you can't forget that. He was put in jail for 5 days, and then everything was dropped because they had no evidence. They tried to SWAT him again yesterday. He knew it was coming because he saw the helicopter circling, so he laid down on the ground like this before the cops even got there. They said that he had a gun and victims in his car. Anyway, go start with DOA. You can remember that. He's fun.
We'll be back.
All right, well, we're always here. That was awesome. See, there are those that don't know about it, and I'm here to tell them. Because my chat disappears, I got that he wanted to go, but that's why I got to get as much as I can out as fast as I can. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, glad I've never. So, anyway. That's why I hold a sign. That's why I don't try to get confrontational. I'm being loud today, but there's hardly anybody out here. So, because I want people to stop and talk to me. I want people to... Here's one. Does anybody know him? I try to get as many on film as possible. They might have family members that miss them because they have to disconnect. Yep, I was right. That guy should be retired and kicking his feet up with his grandchildren, and probably has neither retirement or grandchildren. If he does, he probably doesn't talk to him. Because I don't know how many of you watch the other channels, but Laura FM, I watched her heartbreaking story one day. I haven't heard all of it, but she was talking about a documentary that somebody made for her, or of her, and then somehow Scientology made it not happen. And they had a phone call recorded that she wanted back, that it was, I believe, the last phone call she had with her dad, where he said, well, because she was like, why are you doing this? Why don't you want to talk to me? And he's like, well, because you're not really my daughter, and I'm not really your father. Last life, you were probably an 80-year-old man. So, we don't have to have a relationship. Something to that effect. And I don't know if she's talked to him since. I know she saw him at an event they were filming. I think it was New Year's, I'm not positive. She saw him, and she tried to get his attention, and he ignored her. So, you know, if this place just treated their people better, if Scientology just treated their people a little better and didn't abuse children because they think they're adults in small bodies, and didn't abuse the elderly that have worked for them their whole lives, and they put them in an apartment with 7 people and take their social security and take credit cards out in their name for $50,000, and then when they die, they don't have to pay the credit card anymore. They get no medical care. Mike Brown, go to his channel and watch the story of his. Now, I haven't watched her talk about her story, but I've heard Mike Brown talk about it. Talk about how she's had a heart condition for a very long time, and she tried, and she tried to get medical. They had to give her medical care. I think she passed out and had to go in the hospital. And they told her after that, well, you're no use to us anymore if you can't work for us. And I think that's when they put her in a home. It took Mike Brown, I think he got with somebody, I don't know if it was a friend, because he's in the Army or retired, I'm not sure which. I think he's still in. He got somebody like from Special Forces, or I don't know, they went in with a hidden camera and they got her out. And that's how she got out. And if they hadn't got her out, that had to be a miserable existence. Because I wonder, there's no way they let them watch TV. Maybe they did because they weren't abuse anymore. But I guarantee you, they still probably weren't allowed to have cell phones and computers or internet, because then they'd find out. I don't know, I need to watch her story and get those details. But yeah, during the opening, you'll see it on my live stream. There was this older lady with oxygen in a wheelchair. I'm assuming she was a member. Right. Remember, Mike's mom drew the illness in herself. Right. So obviously she was an SP and they didn't want her anymore after she killed herself for 30 or 40 years. I couldn't imagine it. I was in the Army, and I say this a lot in comments, because I was in the 80s before they had to start being nice to you. But I knew what I was signed up for. I was one of those that kept my mouth shut and did what I was told and never got in trouble. But it was hard. I was 17. It was hot. They had us rolling in sand and glow crawling in sand and sleep deprivation. That's the worst part. So I know what sleep deprivation is like. I know what it's like to get in at 11 and have to get ready at 3. And it's nothing compared to the way they treat them in the Sea Org. Nothing. And what I was saying, if they treated their people better, paid them a living wage, gave them medical insurance, and didn't abuse children and the elderly, we wouldn't be here. I don't care. I don't care about other religions. I don't care about other organizations. But when they abuse children, I'm here. Aaron, growing up in Scientology, he is highlighting the rampant child abuse in Scientology. Because they don't believe they're children. They believe they're adults in small bodies. I think I might put that on my sign. I need to put that on one side of my sign, because all I have is Scientology call Ask Me Why on both sides. I need to change it. And I need to put child abuse on one side. That gets people's attention. Got my attention. That's why I'm here, because they wanted to open up in front of a college and try to get young people in here. And I'm like, that's not happening in Texas. That's why my name is so long. Originally it was Scientology Won't Win, but I put in Texas later because I'm planning on going up to Dallas if they're going to protest up there. And I'm going to find out about San Antonio and Houston too. Now those are 3-hour drives, so I'm either going to have to stay over or it's just going to be a long drive. So, ow, I just hit myself in the head. Is there anything y'all want to talk about that happened this week? Or anything other than that? Oh, that's Oscars. DOA. I didn't turn on Do Not Disturb. I'm getting YouTube notifications. There was something about DOA in there. Probably he put out some videos today. Okay, here we go. Captain Davy of the fake States Navy is drawing SPTV now. Oh yeah. Have you figured out how to tag your lives so people can find them easier? I don't know what that means. I think if you emailed me, I never been smart enough to put it in the description until after. It's on all my other videos, except I didn't go back in Friday night or today and put my email, which I'm changing because that email is technically for the website that I did. Yes, absolutely. If you want to email me, if you want to do it by email or your phone number, that's fine. I'd love to, because I need to learn. I'm completely newbie to this. I literally watch exactly what I need to watch for what I need to do. And like, I got the 50 subscribers. Aaron and Pearl Snappy got me 100. So I was able to go live, and then I tried to go live, and it said, no, you have to verify your phone number, and you can't do it for 24 hours. I didn't know that either. Then I do know about the watch hours, but that's just for monetization, so I don't care about that. I really don't. Really, the only thing I would hope, only because of my husband is paying for everything that I do. We don't look at it that way. When you're with somebody since you're 16, everything is ours, and, you know, he tried to say that once. I got sick in 2010. I have another disease, and I was homebound for that, but I wasn't quite bedridden at the time. So I've really been homebound since 2010. He tried to say, well, it's my money. He said that one time. Because I've always had a job, and it was his job that paid the main bills, but it was always my job for everything else. Because he was an E-nothing when we got married. We were living in California in the early 90s. And I went out there, in 89 and to get an apartment, and found out we couldn't afford it to live off post. And I got there 2 days before the 89 quake, and we were 30 miles from the epicenter, because it wasn't actually San Francisco, it was Gilroy or someplace like that. That was trippy. And 2 weeks later I went back home, and it took 8 more months to get housing. His base pay was $699 a month. So privates don't make a lot of money. So I have been there during the lean times. So I try to be careful about my spending. But anyway, if I get monetized, all I want to do is make enough to pay for this. It's sometimes, depending on where I park, it can be, if it's busy, sometimes it's $5 or $10, but some days it can be in the 20s, depending on the parking, depending on how long I'm there. It's $25 in gas, because we have a V8 engine. I'm not going to say what I drive. And then I usually stop and get, you know, something to eat or drink. If I could just cover that, I'm happy. And maybe like equipment. That's it. That's all I want to make. So that way my husband doesn't have to pay for it. It pays for itself. That's all I want. I don't want no extra. I don't want to be a big YouTube channel unless it gets the word out. I never thought in a million years I'd even go live. My initial goal was to film Pearl Snappy. I even told her when we were chatting before we met, I said, oh, did somebody get married? Somebody got married. Thanks, Judy. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Yeah, Judy, you're the one that inspired me to maybe branch out and do something different. And what I mean by that is in my off days, I'm trying to get Zoom working. I don't know how to work that either. I'm thinking about having other YouTubers on to have a chat. And I need to make a space. So that's why I did the fireside the other night. Don't watch it. It was a failed experiment. It was boring. Unless you want to turn the sound off and watch the fire. Thanks, Judy. Which is something I'm thinking about doing. Okay, so originally, because I said what we chatted about at the fireside, we would talk about today. So I'm going to talk about what I talked about on the fireside. So when I watched Judy, I think it was Thursday night. I mean, there was only 7 or 8 of us in the chat, but she was showing the video that Kelly Copter played of Aaron's attack, and somebody put together. Ooh, I'm nauseous. I just drank that coffee too fast. Sorry. Ooh. Whoa. Headache. Okay, so she was just playing Aaron's video. I'd never seen it. I don't even remember how I found her channel. I think somebody, oh no, I remember. And Aaron's, she did a super chat, said she was going live. And I'm like, Aaron's pretty cool. He doesn't mind people like promoting their channel. And so I went over there and she was showing that and chatting about it. And it was for people that may not know a lot, but I hadn't seen the video yet. And I thought it was awesome the way that they put it together. From all the different angles, all the different stuff. I didn't see originally that somebody got that Perry guy around the corner getting set up. And it was good seeing all the angles. I'd seen a couple angles, but so that was pretty cool. So she was just sitting there in her room chatting on a microphone. And you know, I don't have trouble talking. Matter of fact, okay. So you know how I sit out here and I'm chatting to no one really, you know, in front of me. I always film to and from my car in case something happens. And I was literally talking out loud to my camera and I wasn't live. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have to do that. So I'm thinking about trying to branch out, trying to do more things besides just the protesting. But I'm not giving up the protesting. That's what I'm here for. Just I thought once or twice a month I might try to do something different. I'm losing people. I need to get loud again. So I honestly should have wrote on a note card because I had things I wanted to talk about loudly so they could hear me inside. So, talking about the violence, the crap they're trying to pull on us. They're amping it up. Now, I don't think the people that attacked Will, I don't think that Scientology paid them. I think they were just supporters of the restaurant, which they know exactly what went down there. They were probably hung around in there when Danny did. I mean, you think about it, about Danny. and you think about the crap he did and what kind of person he really was, you can imagine what other type of clientele hangs around La Poubelle. And the ones that still go in through the protesters, they're the ones attacking the protesters and doing drunken, crappy things to them. Well, that's the kind of owner that owns it, and that's the kind of people that hang out there. I'd love it if somebody that they don't know would go in there and film what it looks like inside and stuff. Just curious. It doesn't look like it's very big. It doesn't look like it's very high end. So why did Danny Masterson hang around there? Well, it was probably his cup of tea. So now their supporters and clientele are attacking our people. And up until they called the cops on me, I wasn't really saying much about me, us, this, but you know, I did this because I feel like I'm part of something bigger than I am. And I'm hoping that enough of that footage gets seen by our lawmakers and the IRS and the people in charge that they're going to take their tax exemption away. That's our goal. My goal is first to have that happen, because once they're not protected by their tax exempt status, then you're going to see investigations. Then you're going to see lawsuits. You're going to see people getting rescued by their family members, because they won't have that to hide behind anymore. And, you know, I'm sorry, but the people in Sea Org and the staff, they know how bad they got it. They know. They just don't know how to leave yet. Well, we're going to have an organization soon that'll help you get out. And you can still call the Aftermath Foundation. I'm only saying that because we don't have anything else yet. Once we do, I'm done. Sorry, my cane fell. Sorry about that. Once their tax exempt status is gone, they won't have that stupid protection. So, what's going on right now? Why are we live streaming every day? Why every location, every opening? Because we want as much of this on film and online as possible, because everybody is seeing it. If they're on TikTok, they're seeing it. If they're on YouTube, they're seeing it. There's people that don't know what Scientology is, that it's a cult, because they don't let their members leave, and the child abuse. Once you start saying child abuse, people start to listen. And you know, maybe the staff and the CR don't know about that. Maybe it didn't happen around them, because they don't talk to each other. They don't even know when people die, because Scientology lies about everything, even to their own people. When that girl died from suicide last year, they were telling shore stories that she died of cancer. And she didn't even have cancer. Because why are all these members of Scientology dying of cancer? Because they don't go to doctors, because they think the tech will save them. Or they're so mind controlled or bullied, they're afraid to go to the doctor. I mean, I can't believe for a minute that John Travolta's wife should have died from cancer with the money that they have and the treatment that they could afford. They even got them mind controlled. And when I get off here, I'm donating to Danny so he can have money when he gets out. They need to be able to hire a civil rights attorney. The problem is they can't find anybody to take on LAPD. I noticed the LA chapter is still closed. That's what we're doing here. You see this? Nobody wants to go in there like this. See that? You can see my sign better. And then now you've got SPTV. People like me, people like Judy. So many of the Chicago live streamers were new. I tried to go to every one. They wouldn't even let the residents through. They lie, they get a permit. They don't get it for the whole area because they know that the police will let them spread out. And they needed a pearl snappy up there because she studied that permit for weeks, if not months. I'm not sure when she got it. She knew every line of that permit, and that's what they needed in Chicago. I did see somebody yelling that this is where they're permitted for, but they had all these police bullying them, and you really don't want to go against them. So they got the police to bully them off of property they didn't own. And you can't, Pearl Snappy was at their other location here in Texas, in Austin, and they tried to call the cops to trespass her, and they weren't the owners of the building, and they couldn't do it. You have to have an owner. It is. All right. See? Look how young they are. They know. You want to be on my channel for a minute? What do you want? What do you know about it? Because we're talking about how social media has really put these people in the spotlight.
I don't know anything about Scientology. It's one big cult, though. It's a giant cult.
The reason it's a cult is because they don't let their members leave. If you join the Sea Org and you sign their contract, a lot of times families will take their kids out of school around age 12 and put them in the Sea Org, and they never get an education.
And, like, I heard there's like aliens tied in.
Yes. The thing is, these people standing at the desk won't know anything about it.
And, like,
you have to get to the higher levels to know that.
Isn't the CEO like he lives on the moon, right? Like
The old leader that died, they think went to what's it called? Not tier 2. Something 2. And yeah, they think they have a base on.
I heard the old leader's name was Dylan McButt.
Was what?
Dylan McButt.
That's hilarious.
Alright, thank you.
You guys, just pass it on.
Bad people, yeah.
Go to Growing Up in Scientology. He's the one I started watching. He used to be in.
Thanks so much.
But yeah, it takes the young. It's not going to be, my age group, and I know my age group is who watches me, but you know that there's a lot of people older than us. I didn't know about social media. I never really watched YouTube. I never had TikTok. I never had Twitter. Well, I had Twitter, but I was never on it. And I was on Facebook, but just for the family stuff. I haven't even done that in forever because I've been so wrapped up with SPTV. I just don't have time. That would take all my time. I get on there every few months. I find out somebody's had a baby, somebody got married. I'm like, doesn't anybody call anymore? I mean, these are like, I'm not gonna get into that. I'm like, just because it's on Facebook doesn't mean I saw it. Plus, I'm not gonna scroll for an hour. But it's these young people that are gonna get it out, and that's where they mess up. Is they don't realize how prevalent they are on social media. The only people that know is OSA. These other people, they don't know. Staff, Sea Org, they don't know. They're not allowed on the internet. And Davey, he may not even know because he only knows what they tell him. So unless he's perusing YouTube at night or TikTok, he has no idea how many channels are out here talking about this cult, talking about the child abuse, talking about the elder abuse, talking about the mind control, talking about how they won't let them leave. They have to escape in a trunk of a car just to get out. How it destroys families because they make them disconnect. Yet the church will say they don't have a disconnection policy. which is a lie. They probably don't know how much the church lies. Sorry, I took a break. But what I keep saying in the chats to hopefully, you know, especially when somebody's being attacked, I'm like, look, we're winning. That's why they're doing this. But this time it's not going to work. We're not going to stop. And if one of us goes down, there's somebody there to take our place. Because channels are popping up everywhere. We even have a cooking channel on SPTV. And as long as you're anti-Scientologist, you're on SPTV. So many people have gotten involved in the last year when it became a group. And that's what other communities on YouTube don't understand, that when you finally give it a name, it makes people feel united. And when you made it SPTV, it was just somebody in the chat threw that out there one day. I was there. And Aaron liked it, and he said it, and then some other channels started saying it, and then it just blew up. And that's how grassroots movements start. And grassroots movements win because they can't go after everyone. And we have no leader. We have no organization in charge of us. So there's nobody you can go after except us individually. And it's not going to work. Somebody might give up and leave. So what? How many more are there? I think Fluffer Squirrel UK, she has, I think it's she, not for sure, has a list on her community tab of all the SPTV channels, even me. And she said 80 of them are protesters. I think there's over 100 channels, which I didn't even know. I thought, when I say SPTV channels, when I say there's 50 of them, I wasn't even really talking about the protesters. In my mind, what was that just popped up? Hold on, because I get YouTube. The only thing I have on this phone is YouTube right now, and I just had a weird YouTube notification. I want to look at it. PTS for life. Scientology front groups. Be careful out there. Oh, it's a show. Scientology front groups. Okay, it's anti. I thought it was for a second. Oh, growing up in Scientology. Vice takes on Scientology. They screwed that up. I already saw that. That was... Oh. Okay. Just reading the notifications because I thought there was something weird on there. Oh yeah, I'm going to get me a Davy from the Fake Face Space Navy something. Oh, and like I said, in case you weren't here in the beginning, I'm about to go off here in a few minutes. I'm planning a surprise, a fun thing to do out here that'll get people's attention. I can't say what it is because I don't want to, you know, don't want Osa watching. It'll take me about a week to get it all together. And when I use it, I'm going to definitely do it on a weekday because I want as many people out here as possible. So hopefully this is Sunday, the beginning of the week after next. Hopefully I'll be ready by then. And I'll announce it. It'll say when that's coming up, and I'll try to put it up ahead of time so everybody knows. Today, I usually don't put what time I go on until I get here because I never know with traffic. But I knew today was going to be pretty easy. So I actually put the time when I left my driveway. I knew about how much time I needed. And it did work out. I would have been exactly on time if I hadn't stopped at the coffee shop right there to go tinkle. And I get a drink because I'm assuming like most places you have to buy something to use their restroom. So, sometimes I come up the block over there and come this way. There's literally 4 coffee shops. There's on the side road, there's a trailer. Then there's a coffee shop, I think a coffee shop with food, and then this coffee shop. You can do that when you're at a university. But this is the only one I've actually been to. And then there's a pizza place down there that does it by the slice. They're really good. If you're ever out here. Well, it wasn't very exciting today, guys. I thought it was going to be like the Sunday after the event. And, oh, I got a copper. Oh, I think I'm going to stay here for a minute. Let me get my sign. So, I wonder what's going on here. I hope he's just getting coffee, because he's pretty far down there. Well, let's see. See if he's coming this way. Oh, I hope he's coming this way. Nope, he's getting coffee. Oh, Chipotle. He's getting Chipotle. That's okay. I was like, I thought he parked pretty far away. So I don't think I'm gonna have another problem. Unless, I don't know, I'm getting louder. Next week and the week after. Next week I'm gonna be loud. The week after that, I'm gonna be loud and interesting. So stay tuned. Anything y'all want to talk about before I leave or ask? I'm about to go. Just because there's just not a lot of people out here on Sunday. I really thought I was going to see people doing that fake Sunday service and going in and out. Maybe they did earlier. And maybe I got here too late for that. Maybe I'll try to get here on a Sunday morning and see what's going on. So I'm going to be here more next week. Last week, I needed to recover. I was having a bad week. I'm not going to let that get me, because I've decided if I think my back's not going to work well, I have a walker. I will bring that sucker with me, and I will sit. And my husband bought me a tripod there's a thrift store near our house. They buy those storage spaces. So we go in there all the time. And I wanted a tripod for my sign, not my phone, because I don't mind moving around. But that sign gets heavy, and I want a bigger sign. I saw somebody in Denver with this huge sign, and it was awesome. So we're gonna get that tripod working. I'm gonna make a bigger sign for next week, sometime next week, or maybe you know what? I'm gonna hang on to that until my surprise the following week. I'm not even going to bring that out yet. I want it all on the same day. So, alright y'all, thanks for staying. I know it's not very interesting here, but I appreciate it every time. Every minute y'all give me is worth it. So, oh, one thing I thought about doing. There was a guy, Denver Steve-O, a while back that needed watch hours. And what he did a sleep-in where he went to sleep and he played nice music, and we all just stayed in the chat talking to each other. He had a little bit bigger following, because that was when SPTV was real new, and they were the new Never End channels. So I thought about this the other night, Friday night, when I did my fire. But you know, I'm yapping on. Nobody really wanted to hear that. So I'm thinking one night, my husband got the wood ready. I'm just gonna film my fire one night for a couple hours. And if somebody wants to watch it while they're going to sleep, that would be awesome. Maybe I could get my watch hours that way. So let me know in the comments if you think that's a great idea, or it might help me out a little bit. So, alright, SPTV signing off.